So, here we go.
He was filled with childish frustrations and complexes. The police were searching for James Thomas.
Hello. You're listening to Midnight Movie Gang. It's currently 7:07 p.m. Night Movie Gang. I'm here with my buddy Joseph. Say hi,
Hey,
Joseph.
what's up?
And for those of you just tuning in, if this is your first episode, this is a show where we kind of talk about horror, sci-fi, lesser-known films, the kind of like movies that aren't mainstream, man.
Yeah, this is so underground.
Movies that I don't know. These are pretty the above ground of the overground. We just like talking about our nerdy
Genre
pop culture
movies.
shit. Yeah, definitely movies that I feel like movies people have definitely heard of, but just haven't watched. That's more the niche, really, because a lot of these are like, oh yeah, I've heard of Bram Stoker's Dracula, but I hadn't seen it.
See it. It's an experience, whether you like it or not.
Definitely, I recommend seeing both of these. We're gonna get into all that. So yeah, Joseph, this was kind of your idea, baby, to do as an episode.
Yep.
You saw. This was my first time viewing either of these films. And I saw them both within the last 48 hours.
I mean, they're like kind of a series. They're like kind of like they're two sides of the same coin. They go together really well, and they're honestly perfect for the show, in my opinion.
Yeah, Francis Ford Coppola. So like, I didn't watch. I need you to resend me the video essay that you had shown me before, because I wanted to rewatch that.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't find it, but in a little bit of research that I did, basically, what's it called? Francis Ford Coppola kind of wanted to start this revitalization of the monster,
the dark universe of the 90s
kind of thing, in response to, interestingly enough, the kind of 80s and 90s slasher boom. So like all the Halloweens and Nightmare Elm Streets and Screams and all that.
I gotta say, I don't know if you'll agree, but I prefer these movies to any slasher movie personally. Yeah,
they certainly are. These two, they certainly have higher budgets.
These these are at least confusing the entire time. So there's that.
They definitely. I mean, the characters themselves have infinitely more depth than like any of the. I mean, technically speaking, you can draw some direct comparisons between certain characters. Like I would say that Frankenstein is Jason is definitely just a dumbed down Frankenstein.
Yeah, I mean, these are honestly, they're just fun.
Yeah, but basically, in response to that, Francis Ford Coppola wanted to reimagine and bring the classic Universal monsters into the modern era. I also wanted to rewatch the original movies, watch them because I've had a Blu-ray box set of like the original 30s Universal monster movies. But I didn't get a chance to. That we'll save that for the future.
Yeah, that can be an episode.
Yeah, that could be an episode. That could be a something.
Old movies are fun to do.
Yeah, but everyone knows who fucking Frankenstein and Dracula are. Before we jump into these movies, basically, Joseph, what did you? I guess more along the lines of like, when did you see these? What was kind of your first exposure to these Universal? If you can remember, like your first kind of exposure to these Universal monsters as characters.
I mean, like I've always like I don't think there's ever been a point in my life like consciously that I haven't been aware of these monsters. I think that's true for a lot of people. I used to watch like what is it, Laurel and Hardy and Frankenstein or some shit like that, like those like old like monster team up movies. It's just always been on in the background, like Alvin and the Chipmunks, Frankenstein.
I think that's the first. I think this is the first Frankenstein thing I saw. But
I've always been a fan, and I remember being a kid or a teenager and watching the original, like the Boris Karloff Frankenstein, and thinking it was really like emotionally affecting. Like it was like, I think it was one of the first movies that like actually like made me like feel something, which is weird. That I'm excited to watch that in the future.
Yeah.
But I watched the Kenneth Branagh, which I didn't realize the lead guy in that movie is the director, and that honestly makes a whole lot of sense when you watch the movie.
Yeah,
because he's shirtless for like half of it, and he got really ripped.
He's showing off his hot scientist bod.
Yeah, he doesn't look like you'd expect Frankenstein to look.
Trying to give Jeff Goldblum and The Fly a run for his money.
Yeah, it's a lot of the same energy. Yeah,
a disheveled dude in a lab, shirtless.
Yeah, you're right. That's a really
sweaty.
Good connection.
working on his machinery.
Yeah, it's honestly like excessive.
Yeah.
But I watched that as a kid and remember thinking it was super scary and disturbing. There are like some really like it's like operatic horror, but it's still horror. Like it's not like so theatric that it's not actually scary at points, because it is actually pretty disturbing at times. And so I remember watching that as a kid and being like, my parents can never know that I saw this. And then as an adult, like I've always seen that poster for Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula. It's like a really cool poster.
Not this one, another one.
Not that one, not the one on Wikipedia. The one where it's just that like
his face
gargoyle.
Yeah.
For some reason, it's just
Yeah,
really,
that one.
yeah, it's sick as fuck. I'd get a poster of that.
Yeah, folks, if you look it up, it's like the go-to DVD cover. It's the VHS. I have this on VHS. I'm excited to watch this on VHS
Hell yeah,
in the future.
that's a good VHS movie.
And it is that cover. If you look up Bram Stoker's Dracula VHS, I bet.
But I only saw that movie as an adult after watching like Red Letter Media talk about it, and like, you know, it's referenced on YouTube as like, this is the weirdest Dracula movie ever made. Honestly, like, if you want, I don't know if it
might be the horniest.
Yeah, well,
and I thought Nosferatu.
You want to count? Yeah, you want to count Nosferatu?
Well, no, this was way hornier than fucking Nos, which is saying something, because Nosferatu was pretty horny.
That's, you know, so for some reason
explicit.
It is more explicit. Well, I don't know. Like, Nosferatu literally fucks a girl at the end.
Yeah, like literally, and like Dracula gets down with a girl as a wolf man.
I think it's debatable, man. I think
Spoiler alert. They're
because
fucking, bro.
Honestly, like well, no, they are. But I think the connection between this movie and Nosferatu is actually pretty strong. Like,
I mean, it's the same story.
It is.
It is like
Nosferatu is literally a knockoff. Like, it's not even an adaptation like the original movie. Everyone already knows this, but it's like an asylum version of Dracula.
Yeah, the original is.
But it's a retail. Like, if you watch these two movies, they're honestly very, very similar. They just have different colors.
Yeah, no, stylistically they're just different. Yeah. And also there are some minor character and plot changes for
they're
sure.
Both long and horny, and Dracula is an actual monster, and it's the general plot structure is very similar.
Yeah, and I think there's some interesting. I feel like with both, I thought most with Frankenstein that like you could cut either of these movies into very different types of movie, even though neither of them are particularly long, but like you could cut either of these movies into very different types of movies. Like, we're gonna get into it with Frankenstein, and I'm just gonna say this right now. I would love to see like a cut where it starts with Frankenstein like waking up in the lab, like the monster waking up in the lab, and we're just following Robert De Niro. Like, it's an In a Violent Nature, but Frankenstein.
Yeah, that would be interesting. You could do that. Yeah,
it's just his perspective, and he's trying to piece together like his past or whatever, or like you're watching it away from more of this like. Because for me personally, it was the most interesting perspective in the movie. We're gonna get to it when we talk about the movie.
I mean, when you said that, the first thing I thought was like, yeah, this movie does kind of feel like it's cut down from being a musical. They just cut out all the musicals, all the songs.
It's got a lot going on. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein has a lot of different energies going into it. But do you want to talk about? Is there a particular one? Did you want to talk about Dracula first?
Yeah, let's do that since it came first, right?
Yeah, we'll do that. But first, just briefly touching on like my experience with these characters. I mean, like, yeah, it's just they've been. I think most of my early exposure I can think of. I looked up Alvin and the Chipmunks Frankenstein. It might have been the first Frankenstein thing I saw. Mm-hmm. And then just like in various like gothic cartoons, like Billy and Mandy, and things like you see. I'm familiar with these characters mostly through their parodies and references throughout the media, just because they're like so old. And as far as
they're
like
public domain.
Yeah. I don't. Are they? Are these
yes.
I assume they're still owned by Universal.
Well, I don't think that they're owned by Universal. I think Universal just has the most.
Oh yeah, so so Dracula is public domain.
Yeah, because the original book, the person who wrote the original book died so long ago.
Frankenstein Have long been the pumpkin. Oh, okay.
Yep.
Oh, but we looked this up. We looked this up before when we were drawing our when you were working on our characters for the podcast.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Specifically with Frankenstein, the bolts in the neck and shit. That bolts in the neck, big forehead. That's owned by Universal.
Yeah, I looked up like public domain monsters.
Yeah.
And those are the ones we have representing us.
Yeah, but yeah, familiar through that, and then like I said, watching Dracula. Part of it was like, part of the fun was figuring out all the differences between that and the most recent Robert Edgers Nosferatu. Because I guess
honestly, the differences between this Dracula and every other telling of Dracula, it's crazy.
His power set is really interesting in this movie.
His look is insane.
He looks crazy. He looks like a mole person.
He was designed by someone who had no familiarity with the character, right?
I think so, yeah. And everything about his introduction when Keanu Reeves gets to the castle is, I guess we're talking about Dracula now.
Yeah.
By the way, we're talking about Bram Stoker's Dracula, which is a 1992 Gothic horror film produced and directed by Francis Ford Coppola.
The man.
But basically,
and watching this, I watched this, and then like a couple weeks later, I went and saw Megalopolis when that flopped, and it is so apparent that these are the same director, the same weird, super like shoot for the moon choices. Like this is my movie. Yeah. Like super like auteur decisions.
More and more watching this made me think like, man, I got to go back and watch The Godfather, because I haven't seen the Godfather movie since high school, and I know for a fact I'm gonna like take them in so much differently.
Yeah.
Now as an adult.
Yeah, I love that. I love that Coppola just kind of, when he's making movies, just kind of leans into being a big weirdo. You know.
No, 100%. He
check out Megalopolis.
Yeah, I'm excited.
It's a fucking crazy movie.
I'm excited to see it. But yeah, so I guess to start with, kind of I want to continue what I was saying about when we first get to Dracula's house.
Right.
Like when basically Keanu Reeves, Jonathan Harker he goes to Dracula's house because like his buddy who was like Dracula's real estate agent or whatever died, so he has to go out there. And everything about Gary Oldman's presence in the movie, down to like, I love how his shadow moves different than him, all of which was done practically.
Every effect in this movie is optical, right?
Yeah,
not optical, but
there's literally
camera.
One tiny effect. I was looking it up. There's only one tiny effect in this movie that was done in post. It was like there's a scene where there's like a little energy ring on the ground or whatever, and that's
interesting. Yeah, no, this movie is honestly like the gold standard of practical effects, like to the point where you don't even notice them half the time.
Yeah. It was really important for Francis Ford Coppola that like all the like it feel like a proper classic monster movie in that way, and
it's like timeless in that sense. Like the effects are great. The stuff they did for these effects, some of it is actually insane. Like they made like a giant book, they made a
20-foot wide book.
Yeah, and that to cast the shadow of the smoke from a train, and that shot honestly just doesn't even make any sense anyway.
For the peeps at home, I'm drinking some tea right now. Courtney, taking a little tea break.
Hell yeah.
Courtney just brought in to me a cup of peach tea from Yogi. It's quite delicious.
Hell yeah, dude.
We've been making iced teas too out here. It's been fun. So folks at home, grab your cup of tea and keep listening to us talk about.
Imagine you're a monster.
But you were talking about his direction.
No, I was just talking about the effects. They're just. Yeah, it's really, like it's no other movie. Like you think people don't often bring this movie up when it comes to practical effects. You always hear The Thing, or you hear monster movie, you hear like Alien, like horror movies for the most part. And this is a horror movie, but
yeah, no, it is. And I mean, even I'm looking at the reported budget of $40 million. Even at the time, it's pretty impressive. They use all the money.
Yeah.
It got. At the time, it got nominated for winning for best costume design. Mm-hmm. It got nominated for best. It got nominated for a bunch of technical awards, which technically speaking, production wise, it's pretty perfect.
Yep.
And yeah, even the parts that don't necessarily look realistic, like it doesn't matter because they're stylized. So
It's so like operatic and dramatic that it's like
yeah, no, it really
it's
is
like a stage play.
Yeah, it's like a play. Both these movies, I think, have like play-like qualities. Like we were talking about. I think I messaged you. Like I feel like I was watching Lin-Manuel Miranda's Frankenstein. It was
See, like you could put songs in these movies and it would fit perfectly.
he's alive.
Yeah.
Type deal. Yeah, yeah, no, and everything about him, Dracula, when we first get into his house, like the shadows, the way he like he'll float around like casually.
Yeah,
like he's just walking up to Keanu, but he's literally just levitating across the floor.
He's like a paper bag full of evil. That's how I see him.
Oh, exactly. He's like a cloud. He's like fucking. You know what he's like he's like Baron Harkonnen in Dune.
Yeah, kinda. Yeah,
like he is like a Harkonnen, or like when
I love the depiction of Dracula. It's also the same in Nosferatu of just like he is just kind of evil personified.
Yeah, he's just the devil. Yeah. Oh no, and we were talking about. I wanted to mention when Keanu Reeves cuts himself shaving, and he just like lathers the fucking knife across his neck, and he's got the shaving cream on there too. It's so fucking.
That is something I love. I love that this Dracula. It's one of two things happening. He either doesn't realize how weird and creepy he's being because he's lived alone for like hundreds of years, or he knows exactly how weird and creepy he's being, and he just doesn't give a shit because what's Keanu Reeves gonna do about it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Like he's here.
Yeah.
Also, bad. We have bad Keanu this time, unfortunately.
Yeah. No, his accent's bad.
Yep.
And also, this is not the kind of role for him.
No.
Francis Ford Coppola did say the only reason he cast him was because like I wanted someone young and hot.
Yeah.
Like he had said that, and at that time he was young and hot. I think he was hot off of Point Break, or I think Point Break came out the year after. No, Point Break was 1991, so he's hot off of Point Break.
Sad. Poor guy. He did a pretty bad job though.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's a thing where it's like, the thing too that sucks is like I was watching a little behind the scenes thing. He was trying the hardest out of everybody.
He was burnt out, right?
Yeah, he was really burnt out from like all the movies he was doing, but also like this is not the kind of role for him.
No,
you know, like you hire Keanu Reeves when you need someone to jump from an exploding bus.
Yeah, he's an action
like,
star. Yeah.
Yeah, he has this very specific skill set in that regard, or I think he's better in like the stoner comedies. Like he's good as Ted.
Yeah, that's true.
Like I think that this like dramatic kind of role, or especially like if you wanted to match the energy of the other characters in terms of like being like an over the top, like over dramatic, play style. Like he's not that kind of guy.
Yeah, honestly, even in like Cyberpunk, I think he's a little underwhelming. I think he just, as a dramatic actor, he's a very one-tone guy.
Yeah, but honestly, in this movie, it doesn't matter to me for two reasons. One, pretty much everybody else, even Winona Ryder, I think everyone's acting circles around him.
Yes.
One, to the point where like I don't need him to be good in the scenes, like with him and Gary Oldman. Like I don't need, because I'm just watching Gary Oldman the whole time.
I just imagine Gary Oldman in a scene with this guy, and just like he's just like feeling bad for him, like poor Keanu.
Yeah.
While he's wearing this big butt wig.
Yeah. That, and also like he doesn't necessarily have the large, like he's not. It's kind of an even split between. I would almost say that Dracula is like the main character.
Yeah.
As far as like Jonathan Harker isn't really, like it's kind of like
you want to see Dracula.
Yeah, you want to see Dracula, and you get plenty of them. Down to like even we can actually, it's a good lead into the opening. Like I didn't know this movie was gonna give us like a Dracula origin story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we get flashbacks. We get sexy Gary Oldman.
Yeah, we get sexy Gary Oldman. The first 10 minutes is I don't know if you notice this. Do you notice his weird his weird like meat armor? Yes. I thought his armor looked like meat. Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah, it looks nuts. All the costume design in this movie looks batshit insane.
Folks at home, you can Google Bram Stoker's Dracula armor, and he literally looks like a rubber muscle suit.
It looks like an alternate Batman, like from an alternate universe.
It looks like a shitty Batman.
No idea. Yeah, I have no idea what. Like, how do you even like come up with like? I want him to look like he's skinned alive.
Yeah, no, it's weird. That's here's the thing. That's honestly the only costume in the movie I have a significant problem with. Like, it took me out.
It
Like,
looks
why does
strange.
It look
Yeah, it's every yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you get this like quick backstory of like, yeah, he had his love, who was also played by Winona Ryder, who died after being told that Dracula was killed in battle.
Yeah.
And he was known to be like a really like awful general who like, you know, tortured people and like, you know, raided villages.
Yeah, they
and shit.
basically just describe him as Vlad the Impaler. I don't know.
Yeah.
So for both of these movies, I'm actually illiterate, which is that's a joke. But I don't really read. It's a problem, and I want to fix it. But I haven't read either of these books.
I don't read either.
I have no idea how close to the source material they are, but they feel, especially Frankenstein, feel like they're like, I don't know, they're so different from what we've seen in other movies that it feels like they just had to get most of that stuff from the book.
Yeah, they both of them, from what I read, both of them are like some of the more faithful adaptations of these stories. But I mean, like I
like it.
I don't know.
I like how strange and different they are from other tropes that you see for these stories.
Looking at both of these, the main thing that I'm going to down the line compare them to is, and that's why I wanted to, like, I want to watch the original, so I'd be like, okay, like because the original 30s films were
they're fun.
They are the first basis of like these characters as cinematic.
Yeah, those are the
legends.
depictions that are still used. Like those character designs are now like the standard Frankenstein and Dracula and the Mummy.
When someone says Frankenstein, they think of the bolts in the neck and
the
head.
The flat head. Yeah.
You know, like
why is his head flat?
In the original, I don't know.
Is it like a jar and then he put hair over it? I don't understand.
Maybe it was for the shot. I know there's shots where he's like actually working on his brain and shit.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's just like for the effect.
I gotta watch him. I ain't seen him. I have the Blu-ray box set.
They're good though. Yeah. The original Frankenstein is actually a great drama, I will say.
I've heard that's the best one. I'm looking forward to that and The Invisible Man the most.
Oh yeah, that's a good movie too.
Yeah, but anywho, we get his backstory. His wife kills herself after thinking that he's been dead. And then Dracula gets mad and renounces God.
Yep.
And like basically
that's all you gotta do to be a Dracula.
Exactly. And then like he gets some like evil. He gets some evil, some darkness powers, and then that's how he becomes a vampire.
Honestly, pretty cool trade-off. I think I'd just do that.
Yeah, pretty fucking fair.
You basically just get to be a superhero, and you get to live in a big mansion by yourself.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that we never lose track of the fact that he's not a good dude, regardless of his vampire.
No,
like he was a bad dude before.
It's the same with Frankenstein's monster. They have no compunction with like they're sympathetic, but they're also just bad.
Yeah, I think Frankenstein's monster has a significantly more sympathy in that, like he didn't.
It's true.
Choose to be.
But
he didn't choose to be the way he is.
We'll get to it though.
Yeah. But anywho, yeah. So we get that origin, and then like we already talked about, meeting Jonathan Harker and Mina, who they're in love and shit,
and whatnot.
There's some side characters that are, I guess, important later, like Lucy, who's like kind of her ditzy rich friend. And so God, I knocked my laptop. Before Harker gets to the castle, I want to talk about the design of like his Dracula's fucking horse chauffeur.
Yeah.
Why did he look like have a fucking xenomorph? like I gotta find.
Dude, I could not tell. That's another just baffling decision. I mean, he's scary, so it's like mission accomplished.
Yeah. It was terrifying. He had these giant claws. Like that's the picture of him. Yeah,
it's cool as fuck. That's just the helmet that he wears.
It's great and creepy. And Keanu doesn't seem bothered by
maybe
any of this.
Maybe it's a demon. I don't know. Well, he's it's been a long road trip. He's just tired.
Yeah, that's the one thing I guess I could give Nosferatu the fact that like Nicholas Hoult looks freaked out during this whole sequence.
Yep.
Like in
Nicholas Hoult is better in that movie than Keanu is in this movie. Guaranteed.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, like that's pretty much the
same character.
I don't even want to call it a downside because it didn't take me out of it because he's such a the character is treated as such a non-entity.
Yeah, they're both. They're basically just Like
they're just cucks.
Yeah, they're just ping pong balls that get bounced around by the plot.
they're just this character exists just for his wife.
Just for Dracula to fuck his wife.
Yeah, like that is the only point for that character to add some drama to
you don't want to be that guy,
especially in this movie.
Like dude.
In Nosferatu, they made it seem like they actually had a good relationship, and I'm like, in this movie, I'm like, not you can't be Dracula. This. Especially when he's sexy Dracula during the day, like with his sunglasses.
Well, what's
shit.
worse, like, because you see Gary Oldman in this movie, and you're like, all right, I kind of get it, like, but like, Nosferatu is a ghoul.
Yeah, no,
he looks like a Draugr from Skyrim.
Absolutely, like he looks like a literal living corpse.
Yeah,
what he does. It's like Nosferatu don't get to shapeshift.
Your wife is leaving you for that. That's gotta hurt way worse.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, I'm not better than that.
A way worse deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I'm gonna watch Nosferatu tonight.
Me too, maybe. Yeah, I have the 4K. I haven't watched it yet.
Hell yeah.
And it's got a lot of cool special. It's got a director's commentary from the director. I'm forgetting his name right now. Robert Eggers. And I'm excited to listen to it. It's also an extended cut, so hopefully more Nosferatu's dick or whatever.
They zoom in on it.
So Jonathan is stuck at Dracula's house for 30 days. Once again, Keanu doesn't seem super bothered by that. Oh, and then, he gets. Yeah, so Dracula leaves Jonathan to get fed upon by his brides.
He's got his harem.
He has his harem, which I didn't know was going to be in this movie.
Surprise! You could say that about a lot of stuff in this movie.
Yeah, they almost.
He has a scary threesome.
He has a scary threesome with
foursome.
At first, I thought they were Dracula's daughters.
Nope.
Well, the concept of they're his wives.
They're his wives.
Yeah. And this middle section of the movie is kind of like Dracula arriving to London, and using his powers to kind of overtake people in Mina's lives and like
he makes himself sexy. Isn't that after the doesn't? So I've always been like, this is I lack media literacy when I get very high, so the dog. The wolf man.
Oh yeah, that's Dracula.
That is Dracula.
That is Dracula, the wolf man. When he
turns into a wolf. I don't think they ever establish in the movie that he can turn into a wolf.
Towards the end of the movie, Van Helsing says that he could transform into like anything,
right?
Like a thing of mist, a creature, this.
Yeah, that's fair.
And
it always caught me off guard when I saw the dog man fucking that woman. I mean, for a couple reasons. That is the moment that your mom walks in the room while you're watching a movie, by the way.
And you're like, what the hell is this?
She's like, what? Should I leave?
I can leave you alone for this. So Dracula turns into a werewolf, which that just gives him too much powers. Like, it's supposed to be...
He's everything, dude.
Yeah. He can shapeshift, and he shapeshifts and bites Lucy Westerna, Mina's rich friend. Lucy's so as this is happening, it really is an interesting scene where I didn't know that we were going to get sexy Gary Oldman modern day.
Oh yeah, you're not going to waste Gary Oldman.
Yeah. And another interesting thing that I didn't know this movie was going to do, I didn't know that this interpretation of Dracula can go out in the sunlight.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's something from the books. It's not Nosferatu, like the sunlight kills him, but in this...
Yeah, I wonder what the origin of that is.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't see that in a lot of... I mean, it makes sense for this story as far as, like, he's weaker during the day, and he also looks like a human.
Yeah.
Is kind of his thing. And he's got this, like... 1800s John Lennon fit. That's the best thing I can.
He's got the round glasses.
He's got the round cool shades. And he still has his ridiculous accent.
Hell yeah.
And he runs across Mina, and immediately, you know that Mina is smitten. By him. At first, like he offends her a little bit. He comes on too strong, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, madam. I will leave you alone."
I am a foreigner.
No way.
Yeah.
and then they go see a movie because the fucking project, they call it like a cinematograph or whatever.
Yep. Yeah, they see it's the train, right?
Yeah, I think it is the train. Yeah. And Dracula's like, I'm always impressed by these modern technology.
This is Coppola being like, remember movies? I love movies.
I think this is the moment where Taika Waititi saw that and went like, what if we did that but like with modern? Because that's basically all that scene in What We Do in the Shadows, like when they're fucking with the iPhone.
Yeah.
Like, if you lose something, you could just Google it. I lost the scarf in 1912. No, Google it. Yeah, so they're hitting it off. During this kind of middle section, Lucy's health, she's turning into a vampire, goddammit.
Good.
So that's the middle of the movie. And yeah, the Lucy character pretty much isn't in Nosferatu. It's Mina going through the transformation.
Yeah, she gets gobbled up by a dog.
Yep. Yeah. She gets ate in the middle of the night. Yeah, which I don't know if that was a real dog. There's a lot of like dreamlike sequences in both these movies that like.
I mean, yeah, the whole a lot of it is very like surreal. Both of these movies like really lean into being surreal, but this one especially. This one really wants to make like it's like this. You're now in my reality. God damn it! I can make it whatever I want.
Yeah. But as far as scenes, I guess we can start talking about. So her health gets so bad that they have to bring in this character that I'm excited to talk about, Dr. Abraham Van Helsing, who I never realized was
Van
there.
Helsing.
I didn't know that Van Helsing was like he's like the Joker, like he's there from issue 1.
Yeah, dude, that's where he comes from. He comes from the original book.
The original book. I thought
he's
that
just
Van
gotten
Helsing
spin-offs.
I thought he was totally a DLC character. I totally thought like he wasn't in the original game.
Yeah, dude.
He's definitely a fan favorite that doesn't come.
This movie and the Hugh Jackman Van Helsing movie would have been an interesting double feature.
It would have been. Yeah.
It's completely different target audiences.
But yeah, no. As far as Anthony Hopkins in this role, yeah, like he's. I think he's fucking him and Gary Oldman the most are having like the biggest plus because he's just like he's like a cracked out professor.
Great. Yeah, he's awesome, and you can see like. Willem Dafoe plays this character in Nosferatu.
Francis von Uber or whatever.
You got to get the weirdos.
There is kind of a big difference though between Willem Dafoe's interpretation of this character and Anthony Hopkins. So Willem Dafoe's character seems to have like a lot more sympathy for Mina and like seems to care about the people more. Van Helsing in this movie doesn't see.
He's seen this too many times.
He's seen this too many times, but also like his thing. He just cares about getting Dracula. He just cares about defeating.
It's his foe. It's his white whale.
Exactly. He's way more just like I'm just here for the business or whatever. Like he doesn't care about like when. When Lucy dies or when they think she's dead, they're like, what do you want to do with her body? He's like, I want to chop off her head and take out her heart.
Yep. Yeah, it's amazing. He just plays a freak. I mean, like, and that's that's the right. This guy would be a freak. This guy wouldn't be a normal person. This guy wouldn't be very charismatic.
Yeah, real life vampire hunter would always
like you're dedicated your life to something that most people don't even think exists.
I think in any monster movie, it doesn't matter what it is, like the scientist character or like the person who knows what's going on has always been my favorite.
Yeah, they're the most fun you can do with a character, like because you don't have to make them like they're needed by the group, so you don't have to make them likable.
Exactly. Yeah. No, you can have the biggest blast, and him and Gary Oldman don't have that many scenes together up until the end, but like you still feel their
yeah, they hate each other.
Yeah, no, you still feel the tension between them. Yeah, so Ben Helsing comes in, he starts to he's trying to convince was it Keanu Reeves and Keanu Reeves' rich dude friends, which includes I don't even know why the fuck this dude is. So there's
a cowboy in this movie.
There's a cowboy. Isn't he just called the Texan?
We are going to leave out a lot of very weird details, just so you guys know.
How did I forget Renfield? We got to talk about Renfield.
Oh yeah, Renfield's fucking crazy.
He's cracked in this movie. Yeah, Tom Waits. I was trying to figure out who it was the whole time. Like, where do I know? So it's like,
yep.
Oh, it's because isn't he also
brilliant casting?
Doesn't he play fucking Element Man in the Hulk or something? Wait, hold up.
I don't know, man.
No, I'm thinking of something.
These
I'm
are his
thinking of,
albums, I'm pretty sure.
Wait, he's Zachariah in Seven Psychopaths? Hold on.
Crazy.
Holy shit. But yeah, no, so Tom Waits plays...
Plays a
Renfield.
very interesting Renfield.
He's in the
He leans into
like
the bug eating.
He's in like a hospital. Yeah, he's eating bugs the whole time. He's in the psychiatric hospital because he's been communing with Dracula and he's been like giving Dracula information about stuff and people think he's crazy.
And he is.
An unrecognizable Richard Grant, who I thought I didn't realize that was him until afterwards because I think of Richard D. Grant as just an old guy, but he's pretty young in this movie. As Dr. Jack Stewart, who's looking after, and Jack, I believe Jack is Lucy's partner, or is it one of these?
I think they're like three suitors or something like that. Carrie Elways is also there. I think Carrie Elways has a thing with her.
He's like a rich guy. I think
I think that these are characters from the book that had bigger parts. I think if I remember correctly, and I might be wrong, a lot like these characters had like parts in the book that were like told from their perspective. And it makes sense because they're all like dressed super weird and they'll just kind of show up.
Yeah.
You don't really know like why this cowboy's here.
Yeah, he's just the Tex.
Yeah, exactly.
And he has a funny accent. He's here to bring the goods. But yeah, no, definitely like they're memorable to me, but I don't know, like they don't really have a purpose in the movie beyond being like we need a bigger group of people for the final fight.
Yep.
For the final conflicts.
To fuck up Dracula.
But basically, a lot of this section of the movie is Van Helsing trying to convince them that, like, yes, Lucy's turning into a fucking vampire and Dracula's coming and he wants to fuck Mina. And all that. But Dracula's carriage rides to the castle, pursued by hunters. Oh, yeah, this is... One second. Dracula, escaping. Oh, yeah, so they have... Yeah, so once Jonathan... if I remember correctly, once Jonathan and Mina get married, Dracula kind of goes on a rampage. Yeah, shows up to... Visits Mina, who's staying in Seward's quarters. So...
He causes all kind of mischief here.
They are going to try to kill Dracula because Jonathan Harker knows where Dracula's new house is. And while they're doing that, surprise... Dracula shows up at Mina's, and this is where Nosferatu ends. That's why it started getting confusing. Surprise, he's at Mina's, and he's in full bat form. He's in the most monstrous form.
He's scary as fuck.
He's scary as fuck. He's like an 18-foot tall bat wolf man.
Hell yeah.
And now everybody's convinced.
I would hope so.
Yeah. But let's see, Seward's quarters. The hunters are able to so Dracula escapes. The hunters have a little bit of a scrap with him.
I'm pretty sure in the book, instead of this big final confrontation that we get down the line here, I think these three guys, or these four guys or whatever they are, they just find Dracula just like sleeping in his coffin and they just cut his head off, and that's the end of the book.
Lame.
Yeah, they definitely juiced it up in this one.
Yeah, they definitely went.
They
crazy.
kind of just like kick his ass.
Yeah. But yeah, they find out that Dracula is going home to Transylvania.
So they chase him all the way back.
Yep, and then Van Helsing and Mina travel aboard to the castle. Why does Jonathan Harker stay again? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Jonathan Harker, for some reason, stays in... I think Mina just doesn't want him to go because it's dangerous, but Van Helsing and Mina go to Dracula's castle for a final... Oh, it's because she's the only one who can, like, really take him down, because she's the one with the connection, I think, is the thing. So Van Helsing and Mina have a pretty cool fight with Dracula's brides.
Yep.
They kill his horse. He's really mad about them killing his horse.
And then they fuck him up.
Yep, they fuck him up. Oh, yeah, Mina tries to seduce... Van Helsing for a second, and it almost works.
He's almost down for it, yeah.
Yeah, no, he's almost like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Let's see, surrounds them with a ring of fire. Dracula's carriage arrives, pursued by... as the sun is coming out, at sunset, as the sun is going down, Dracula's in a big coffin because he's still weak.
Mm-hmm.
Johnson slits his throat. One more says in the heart.
They fuck him up.
Yeah, they fuck him up. They fuck up Dracula. It's pretty quick fight.
Yeah,
but
it's not really like that, like close either. Like it's kind of just like, come on, boys, let's go kick his ass, and then they do.
Yep. On Dracula's deathbed, he's in the chapel where he renounced God. While he's all crazy, scary looking, him and Mina share a kiss, and then she cuts her she stabs his heart and cuts his head off.
Hell yeah.
Releasing his soul into heaven or wherever. And you see like a spirit of him and Elizabeth played by Winona together, and that's the end of the movie. It ends with Dracula's head being cut very all of a sudden, just
Yeah, no, it's a pretty. For me, I kind of run out of steam watching this movie around the time when they chase him back to Transylvania.
Same.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, what are we doing here?
It kind of meanders a bit at that point.
Yeah.
For me,
I think it should have ended in London.
yeah, yeah, like Nosferatu does. I think that yeah, for me the kind of quote unquote the first half of this movie definitely, since I think they do a lot of great setup for the character of Dracula. I think that the love triangle part where like Dracula is basically like making his moves on Mina, like as she's like, having having grayer and grayer feelings about Jonathan Harker is like a really good saucy section. But yeah, I think the first 2/3 definitely, not to say that the ending is bad. Like there's definitely some great action set pieces. I think Van Helsing really shines in the last third. But for me, yeah, it's not as interesting story wise as like, I feel like the first 2/3 do so many interesting things that I haven't seen done with this character. And then the end of it just kind of ends in the way that you expect.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of, it's got a very predictable ending, and by the time it ends, you're just like, yeah, I know. Can we just, leave the theater now?
Yeah.
But no, it's a good movie. And I also want to say the music is fantastic. I love the score.
Oh yeah, no,
of
the
this
score
movie.
is incredible.
That main theme is like one of my favorite horror themes, if not my favorite horror theme from anything ever.
Yeah, no, like it really it has so much power and weight.
It's so like dark and like dramatic. I don't know. I'm a big fan of how like big it sounds.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like it reminds me why I really want to make, I think I've told you this, I want to make like a lo-fi horror album for Midnight Movie Gang, like just to really, but it's so tough because scary music is not necessarily like
it's hard to make chill.
But it's also just hard in that like scary music is way more about texture than it is about like music theory. Like it's a lot more about your sound choice rather than like what notes you're playing, you know what I mean? And just like choosing instruments that sound creepy and yeah, no, definitely check out Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yes.
It's very well put together. It's a great I think I'm gonna enjoy it more and more, and I'm gonna get it. This one, after I watch them, like I definitely need to watch it again because there's a lot.
Yes, yeah,
it's a very dense movie.
Coppola does that. That's how I felt after watching Megalopolis, and then a day later I was like, "No, I don't need to see that movie again." Actually,
I think it's a thing where it's like, I don't know, Coppola, someone like Ridley Scott too, I think has this where it's like they really pack their movies so dense.
Yeah, it's you could especially see it in Megalopolis where it's just like, I'm not going to deny any idea that I have. Like if I have an idea and I even think it's a little bit cool, it's going in the fucking movie.
Yeah.
And so it's just like it's just full of ideas.
100%. But yeah. So that's Bram Stoker's Dracula. Check it out. You can get it in a two. I bought these movies on Blu-ray in a 2-pack. It's like the first thing you see on Amazon. It's a 2-pack Blu-ray box. This and Frankenstein, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. So Mary Shelley's Frankenstein is a 1994 science fiction horror film directed by Kenneth Branagh, produced by Francis Ford Coppola. So this movie is pretty much a follow-up to the success of because Bram Stoker's Dracula was a financial and critical success. And Francis Ford Coppola, I think I read that he was supposed to direct this one, but he had conflicts, and so he only came on as a producer. So this time Kenneth Branagh takes the reins, and Kenneth Branagh is
the director.
He's the star and director, but not only that, he's a very different type of filmmaker.
Yes.
To
this movie is a little more chill than
it is
than Coppola's Dracula. It's a little safer.
It's goofier.
It's a little less bombastic, I'd say. I mean, it's still over the top, but it's not as I'd say it's a little quieter of a movie for most of it. Some parts are pretty crazy, but
it's over the top in a zany way.
Yeah.
It's like the highest budget, like high school or college adaptation of Frankenstein.
Yeah, no.
If that makes sense. Like that original Dracula movie feels felt like a proper like just old school epic.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this one feels epic in its emotions.
Yes, it's a very emotional story.
Almost everything in this movie is just so over exaggerated.
Yeah,
and
it's theater.
It's theater.
High
down
drama.
I think this movie had a bit of a advantage with me in that how do I put it? I'm less familiar with Frankenstein's story, but I also think that this adaptation is probably one of the only ones I could think of where they really spend a lot of time letting you know who Dr. Frankenstein is.
Yeah. And who the monster is. Like, the monster actually has a personality and is played by one of the greatest actors of all time.
Yeah, surprisingly. I was a little bit worried when I'm like, oh, is it gonna
it's pretty goofy still. Like, I'm not gonna say I totally buy into De Niro as Frankenstein's monster.
It took me a second, but really when it comes down to it, it's like some of the subtle thing, like after kind of we initially see him, his initial little roll through the town, once we'll get to it, but there's a lot of subtlety that builds in his performance. I mean,
he's a great actor. I mean, you can see, I can't seeing Goodfellas and casting him in this, but I can see him in Taxi Driver and this being a similar character. But I do see him in that heavy makeup, and you can kind of see how much he fucking hates being in that makeup.
It looks very uncomfortable.
He looks like he feels really stupid.
Yeah. It is
He used it for the character.
Oh god. I knocked my laptop again. But going into how this movie starts, I didn't know what the fuck was going on in the opening when we were on Pirate Ship.
I always forget that it starts like that. And I'm always we're a boat in the Arctic. This is the framing device from the book.
I remember thinking, oh wait, this is from the book?
I think so.
Okay, then that's interesting, because I remember thinking, man, I'm wondering how this is all going to tie in, and really, at the end of the day, it's not that important.
Yeah, it kind of does. It
is it's really just the bookend.
Yeah, it's just a framing device.
Yeah, I almost forgot that we were on a fucking boat.
It's a book ass decision, whether it's in the book or not. I'm not sure, but it's we need a reason why this character is telling you this story instead of just telling this, because movies don't need to justify that.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Interesting. We do 2 episodes in a row of book
Yep.
Of book structured movies.
Maybe one day we'll read one. Probably not.
Midnight book gang. Midnight reading gang. That'll be me and Courtney spinoff, because
nice.
We plan on doing more reading.
Good.
There's a really cute bookshop in town that
nice.
Has a lot of cute books. But anyway, so we get this opening with this boat that gets trapped in the ice in the North Pole. Mm-hmm. There is a stranger who is running towards them. It's and being chased by something.
This captain is a real dick, and he doesn't care about his crew.
Yeah, no, he doesn't give a shit. He's trying to get to the North Pole
it's blind ambition.
Yeah, I don't know. He wants to continue the expedition. I think he says he's looking for something. It doesn't matter. He's just I want to get there. It's my
this is my greatness. I'm not gonna stop at anything or anyone.
Yeah. But what's it called? But yeah, they run into Victor Frankenstein. Rolls up. He's being chased by something. Him and the captain are talking in the captain's quarters and being like, "What's out there?" Type of deal.
Yeah. There's a creature, and it's very the thing.
Yeah, it's very the thing style opening. The thing that shocked me the most is that they send these Now, I'm not a fan of killing dogs in movies. You know, I'm
They
a fan
kill
of
the
killing kids.
fuck out of these dogs, dude.
They kill the fuck out of these dogs. It's so quick.
They annihilate these dogs.
Like, Frankenstein fucking fucks them up instantly. And that's the
He
thing.
doesn't give a damn.
That took me back. I'm like, whoa, Frankenstein's going to be fucking crazy
Yeah.
when he comes. And he does have, like, super strength.
He's a monster. Like, yeah, he's sympathetic, but he's still, like he leans into being a monster, and he's like, I'm a monster. I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Exactly. Yeah, so we basically Victor Frankenstein starts to tell his life story to this captain as to like why they need to turn back or whatever.
Yeah.
The whole movie is pretty much we don't come back to this boat section.
It's a framing
until the very end. Like, this is technically really where the movie starts. Like, we see Victor as like a little rich kid.
You see his ridiculous storybook house with the big blue wall. I love the set design in this whole movie, by the way.
They're in Saltburn Manor.
Yes. I think this whole movie, the sets look really nice. Like, they're
everything. It looks incredible.
Like, the set and the costume design are way more restrained than Coppola's Dracula. Mm-hmm. And I think that makes me connect with it a little easier. But it's still very pretty and nice to look at.
I'm sure that a lot of the same, even though it's a different director, I'm sure they had a lot of the same like actual production people working on this as they do with Dracula. Like, a lot of the same crew members making the sets and stuff, like the same lots. I'm sure, like, it's the exact same production company.
Oh, we forgot to mention that Frank Darabont co-wrote this script.
Oh yes, he did. And Frank Darabont. Something else I found out is that Frank Darabont says he hates this movie.
Weird, because I kind of like it, to be honest.
Oh no, I had a fucking blast with this movie. I would dare to say I had more fun with this one.
Yeah, me too.
Than Dracula, but I think Dracula is definitely like objectively a better film.
I think I'd agree with that. I think it doesn't help that I'm nostalgic for this movie, but I do think because it's a lot more human of a story, and I honestly just like the character of Frankenstein more. I think he's a more compelling creature than something that's just pure evil. Like, he didn't want us to be born.
I think that I think that this interpretation of the character, like when we really start getting into it, like, and I think a lot of it is Robert De Niro. I think Robert De Niro,
he's just a great actor.
He's a great actor, and there's a lot of interesting things that he brings to this character. But and also, like, I think that there are a few scenes in this movie that are like, there's two sit down and talking scenes that I think might just be perfect.
Yeah.
When Frankenstein's talking to the blind man.
Yeah.
Like, that could be a fucking short film or something. Like, just that conversation he has with the blind man, and then like
from the forest.
The spirit from the forest. That whole little bit, like I said, like, you could make a whole movie of just Frankenstein being this guardian angel for this family. Like, you could expand that into like a fucking A24 or like a Neon.
Yeah, exactly. It's a
thing.
It's got so much humanity to this story.
Yeah, it's my favorite part of the movie for sure. It's one of the things that brings it down, in that like it feels so separate from the movie before it.
Yes.
Getting into the movie before it, so like basically, Victor, you see Victor as a little kid. You see Victor's father, played by another Ridley Scott connection, Ian Holm, who's a really famous doctor. Be like, so Victor's mother dies giving birth to...
You can't bring someone back from the dead. And then John Cleese is is creepy in the corner, and Ian Holm looks at him and he's like, right?
Right.
And he's like, yeah, I know.
Yeah. What is it? He gets introduced to Elizabeth. I forget exactly what they say, but she's his adoptive sister. Like, her parents are dead.
This is the weirdest part. This is the part we crack jokes about the most while we were watching this movie.
Yeah, no, this
is the part that for me is hardest to swallow.
This like incestuous plot line. Yeah, like, why'd they even have to do it like this? Or basically,
was it in the book? I don't know.
Probably. Yeah, so she grows up to be Helena Bonham Carter.
Yep. And he's like, oh shit, Helena Bonham Carter.
Yeah, just like, whoa, I saw Fight Club.
We're not related, technically.
Like, really? Yeah, I mean, that is pretty much like what they say. It turns into
and everyone else in the family supports it.
It turns into the front page Pornhub. Yep. It's like stepsister.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, there's literally a scene in the movie where it's like you see them transition. like when he's about to go off to doctor school or
Yep.
whatever, and they have that moment alone together, and he's like,
I'm not your sister. Yeah.
Is that how brothers and sisters say goodbye or whatever?
Yeah, this is, if you're not, you don't have to buy into this. It's still entertaining if you don't. It's just entertaining in a different way. But this is the core romantic plot of the movie
and it's weird.
It plays a big part in this movie, and they are step siblings. They share the same. They get married, and the officiant is their shared dad.
Yeah. Wait, is it?
No, well, their shared dad is there.
Yeah. Wait, no, they're not half siblings. Like, they're not related at all.
No, I'm saying like she's his adoptive. He's her adoptive dad.
Yeah, no, it's
They
very
share
weird.
a dad growing up. Like, they might as well be related.
Yeah, it's very weird. It's a weird part of the movie. But here's the thing. I will say this: the second half of the movie, the actual sibling element ends up not mattering at all. Like, she does revert to just like, oh yeah, she's just his love interest.
Spoiler alert: they don't even fuck.
No, they don't.
No,
they do not.
They get interrupted, but we'll get to that.
Yep. Yeah. So, oh yeah, and she turns into. I forgot that we get Bride of Frankenstein.
Oh my god!
in this.
Yeah, no.
And
The
that's
craziness is there from beginning to end. Like you know where this story is going because you've seen Frankenstein before, but you don't know how crazy it's gonna get, and it gets pretty weird.
But Victor Frankenstein's mother dies in childbirth, which the scene right before that scene where it's like we're in like the operating. I say operating. They're just in some room in the castle.
Ian Holm is shirtless.
Ian Holm is shirtless and covered in blood. Like the scene right before that, I think is like a ballroom scene or something, or some kind of like really highfalutin fancy thing, and it's just a hard cut to like dying in childbirth.
Yeah, it's really jarring. This movie is so strange. I love it.
And then Kenneth Branagh comes in and he can't like his mom is dead and he's like, no, come back, and it's clear that that's going to be the impetus for.
He's like, people die. I'm the only one this has ever happened to. I have to keep it from happening to other people.
Yeah, it's really traumatizing, and it's a thing where it's like, I mean, how do I put it?
He is a mad scientist throughout this. He is
100%.
undeniably insane, this character, and they don't shy away from it.
Oh, I like his transformation into like. At first, just asking questions, like when he goes to his college, he's like asking questions about like bringing things back to life and like.
And his professor's like, "What is wrong with you? No, don't even try. Don't even think about that."
These occult scientists that he's like reading the research of and all this stuff. Like slowly, like in his apartment, he builds like the Jeff Goldblum Fly Lab. Where
John Cleese has apparently tried to do this and came close, but didn't do it, and it ruined his life. And I had to look up if it was John Cleese because it looks nothing like John Cleese.
Yeah, they have him in like a big wig.
He's got a big white wig, and he looks completely different.
Yeah.
I didn't expect him to look so old in the 90s.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's
interesting
that's true.
casting. I wouldn't have expected casting John Cleese as this role.
Yeah, 85. So yeah, he was already old at that point too. But what's it called? Yeah, so during this section when he's at school, he's where he's really he, like you just said, like John Cleese is working on bringing things back to life, preventing death. Mm-hmm. Well, actually, John Cleese's character, when it comes to a point, they even hit his hard line where it's like, my job is about preserving life and preventing death. I don't want to bring things back from the dead because that's the line that I don't want to cross. But when that's the exact line that Victor has to do.
Yep.
And then eventually,
this whole the whole montage of him collecting his shit to finally do his experiment is insane. I don't know how he got this pod. I don't know if he had it made or he made it.
A big BioShock looking ass.
Yeah, he goes around collecting like birth fluid, amniotic fluid, or whatever it's called, and he gets like a big vat of the shit.
Yeah, he makes like a big weird mechanical uterus looking.
It's so weird.
And he's like up there like kind of plunging it, and then he floods it with I like the use of electric eels.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know if that's probably book accurate too, but I prefer lightning. Lightning's a little less goofy.
than electric eels.
But that is definitely like part of the weird identity of this movie is the eels.
You know, it exists in a weird space. And like also another thing too is that like when we can talk about that montage plus him bringing Frankenstein to life. It's just this crazy. He's shirtless, running around the lab, and then like the actual body is on this like Monsters Inc. ass like, rail.
Yep.
It's like flying through the air, and he's doing.
It's
like
a big fucking mess. It's almost like he didn't plan for like how this would go at all.
It's a cartoon.
Yeah.
It's like this crazy super theatrical. It's like a dance number.
There's no Igor. It's just him.
Yeah. There's no Igor. And he's shirtless. He's on top of the tube, and he's banging it, and he's like, "Live." You know. And then
this is the body mostly of the guy who killed John Cleese's character.
Yeah, who was played by Robert De Niro.
He like replaces his eye and like some other parts, I guess.
And has John Cleese's brain.
Yeah, it has John Cleese's brain.
Yeah. And yeah, a couple of other limbs from other things.
It's very cool suit.
Yeah, no, it's I really like that. I ended up really liking the design. It took me a second.
Yeah.
It wasn't what I expected, and it took me.
I think it looks way more accurate to what a reanimated corpse that's stitched together other pieces of a corpse, like because it is mostly one guy.
Yeah.
And then there's like these parts that he just sewed on. I think it looks really cool. I like this. I think it's one of my favorite Dracula or Frankenstein's monster designs.
Yeah, no, I really like it too. I mean, a lot of what makes me like it is that like. You know, Robert De Niro takes it fucking seriously.
Oh yeah,
like he's not playing like a big hammy monster. Like it's like no,
I'm
playing a character.
Yeah,
I'm playing I am a newly birthed.
This is
creature.
If I get another Oscar, my pay goes up. So
yeah, period. But basically, yeah, he gets birthed in a very Blade Runner 2049 fashion.
Yeah, it's very. So this is also another part that I always think of when I think of this movie. He comes out in the slop.
Yep.
We get Frankenstein says it's alive, but he says it in like a really underwhelming way. I wish
he does it quiet, like it's alive.
Yeah, because this is different. This is different from the regular Frankenstein. Even though
we're in the 90s.
I really wish he would have yelled it. But there is a solid couple minutes of just slopping around in the slop, man.
Yeah.
He's like...
They do take a long time.
It's an extended sequence. I don't know what the fuck that means.
He's just grabbing him through. I think
they're both like slipping, falling over a few times.
I think this is trying to show how much of like an infant they're trying to show.
But they're both slipping around is the thing.
Well, it's slippery, man.
Yeah, exactly. But like they show it for so long. I think it's like this is the birthing process that Victor's doing for his creation, but it's just this. It always catches me off guard. It's like 3 times longer than that scene should be.
Yeah, no, it does.
They just keep slipping, falling over because they're just covered in KY jelly.
Period. But yeah, no. So basically, immediately. Victor is
literally
is distraught.
Like a 180 in like 2 seconds.
Is like, oh my god, it's horrible, it's hideous.
I think he kind of thinks it's dead too.
He also kind of thinks, he gets strung up in the chains and he thinks that it's dead.
A big thing falls and bonks it on the head, and it kind of goes unconscious. And then Frankenstein looks up at its massive hog and he goes, "What have I done?"
Yeah, pretty much. He's like, "Oh no, it's dick. It's too
You
big."
do see his dick.
Yeah, you do see Robert.
This and in Nosferatu, let's keep the trend going. You know, get the mummy,
the monsters, mummy dick,
Invisible Man dick. We can do it.
Wolfman dick. Well, I mean, if he's naked when he's invisible, so technically that
you
one
can get covered in flour. I don't know.
The biggest winner, the biggest wiener, the biggest winner. Yeah. So Frankenstein wakes up, steals Dr. Frankenstein's really cool green coat.
Yep.
And he's got this limp because one of his legs is like definitely shorter than the other.
I don't know why Frankenstein had this sick ass coat with this giant comedy collar. Like that jacket looks cool, and then the more I look at it, it looks ridiculous, and then it just kind of keeps going back and forth.
I don't mind the big collar. Like he used it to like cover his face and stuff.
He uses it as a hood, yeah. But it's like, why did he have this?
Yeah, that's true. Why did Dr. Frankenstein
It's like
have it?
giant too.
For the rain. Yeah, it's true. It's so much bigger than him. Yeah, because Frankenstein's a big hulking guy.
Yeah.
But so he escapes, and then Victor does this complete 180 where now it's like I'm
in a
out
second.
here.
He's just
like immediately.
Yeah, he's just 180. Like, I should never have done this. This thing has to die. And it's like, dude, calm down. Can you just be happy for a second? You did it.
I thought we were gonna get a little period where like, he's gonna try to raise him or whatever. Like in the original, doesn't he fucking give him cigarettes or something?
I think so. He could do it like a young Frankenstein and do putting on the Ritz with him.
Yeah, period. So Frankenstein has a little. He goes out to the village. He's trying to steal food because he doesn't know what's going on.
Yep.
And the people of the village, kick him out, banish him, and trying to kill him.
He immediately sparks an angry mob because they think he's got the plague or something like that, or typhoid or some shit. And everybody in this movie, everybody is a moron except for the main characters.
100%.
Everybody in the 1800s was just like a scared like animal. It's just, if they see something they don't understand, they just immediately riot and freak the fuck out. That's everybody but the main characters.
Period. But then we enter my favorite section of the movie, without a doubt. Like I said, this whole like plot line sequence could just be its own film expanded. So Frankenstein takes shelter in this family's barn. It's just this like family that lives out in the wilderness in this farmhouse.
They're struggling, makes ends meet.
A mom, a dad, a daughter, and a blind grandpa.
Yeah.
Who immediately, the blind grandpa, like the first night that Frankenstein's there, he's kind of like peeking in through the rafters or whatever, like at the daughter's being like read a story or whatever. And Grandpa hears him right away.
Yeah.
Like Grandpa hears like
he's Daredevil.
that somebody's there. Yeah, Daredevil. Immediately, anytime there's just like a blind dude with that kind of power, like I think Daredevil or Zatoichi.
Frankenstein meets Daredevil, dude.
Yeah. By the way, we got to do a Zatoichi episode soon. The last Zatoichi movie I watched had the coolest fucking ending.
Oh, sick.
Ever. Like it's like a horror movie. Like the bad guys think that they've won and they're celebrating at night in their dojo. And Zatoichi's like slowly stealth killing and taking out he's taking out all the candles in the dojo as well as like, and then the main bad guy at the end is like holding up a candle and his sword in the other hand, and like everything's dark, and then a knife goes through the candle of the last, and Zatoichi's holding the candle on the edge of his sword up to the gangster's face. And it's like, oh. That
dude's kill count's insane.
Yeah, just so good.
Crazy KD on that guy.
Yeah, but that's a Zatoichi rant. So Frankenstein in this movie, he helps the family in like little ways. Like I think there's a part where they need to get the crops. They need to like what's it called? They need to harvest the crops, but the ground is frozen solid and they can't get out, and Frankenstein can no problem pick it up because he's got monster strength.
Yeah, he pulls up their crops for him, their frozen beets.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just the spirit of the forest.
The spirit of the forest like is helping us, and you see that Frankenstein
offers.
Is like satisfied, like helping this little family.
He found a nice purpose. He helps people.
Exactly, like he sees that like things aren't all bad.
This is before his heel turn.
Before his heel turn, but this is just like a part of like you see him like learning how to like be human. You see him reflecting on things. You see him like,
Yeah.
This is the part where Robert De Niro like really brings a lot of.
He learns to read, learns to talk,
learns to read.
Yeah.
And also where I really started to accept the makeup more because the closer you look at it,
great.
Like something that what I appreciate about it is like it literally looks like different people's faces.
Yeah,
like
a different eye color, his eyebrows different. They don't line up. It's really smart.
It really looks like De Niro only has like his like eyeball on like one side of his face.
Yeah.
And then it's it looks like just different faces.
Different person, yeah. And you like the stitches heal over time. The makeup isn't static. It's great. Yeah.
No, it's really I really learned to appreciate it. And then this plot line ends with so there's the landlord brings him and some goons because the family's like late on their rent for their farmhouse or I don't know, however it works, or like maybe paying taxes to the local lord or whatever. And Frankenstein fucks up, and they're attacking the old man, the blind man.
Yeah.
And Frankenstein fucks up the goons.
Yep. Fucks him up, dude.
And then the old man's like, "Oh, thank you, my friend. Please come in. Like, you don't have to stay outside this long." And he's like, "I was hoping you'd come in soon." And so, this is my favorite scene in the movie. It may be obvious in that like, well,
see you, and he like puts out his hands.
And
Go for it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, he feels, and he like immediately is like, "Oh, you poor thing. I'm so sorry for whatever happened to you."
Yeah. In that moment, you know what it made me think of? It might be a weird, and honestly, there's a lot of this Frankenstein in this character, and maybe why it's one of my favorite. This is like the scene in you're gonna think this connection's crazy, dog. In the 2004 Fantastic Four movie, when the thing meets Alicia in the bar and she's blind, his girlfriend's blind.
Oh, right.
And she's like, "Let me feel you," and she's like, "Oh, so sad." It's literally the same. Like, I don't know, big scary monster.
Oh, it's
dude,
like
make
poetry. It rhymes.
Make friend with blind person.
Yeah.
That means that Frankenstein and the grandpa are gonna fuck.
They would have if they hadn't gotten interrupted.
Yeah, but what's it called? Well, basically, yeah, and now that I'm thinking about it, it makes sense. The Thing has a lot in common with Frankenstein and that
very
misunderstood.
similar characters.
Just really, the message is don't judge a book by its cover. That's really the ultimately like.
Yeah, he didn't ask to be born. God damn it.
Yeah, he didn't ask for it.
But then later in the movie, it's honestly pretty fair to judge a book by its cover because he's actually a monster, like in both sense of the word.
Yeah. Well, I have more to expand on that when we get to. There's a specific scene that talks about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so basically he's talking to the blind man, but then the family comes back, sees him, thinks that he's the one that attacked Grandpa, and then they push him out. And he's all sad.
Yep.
But yeah, so then Frankenstein reads the monster reads Victor Frankenstein's journal and decides that he wants to get revenge against his father.
Fuck this guy.
Yeah, fuck this dude, my dad. I'm gonna go get revenge. And then he travels to Geneva. He literally walks across mountains, and it's a really funny scene.
It is funny.
Like,
he's just like, here I go.
And then he sees it. He's like, Geneva.
He literally just walks the whole way there.
Literally, big fucking. I remember I was watching the behind the scenes of was it they made a documentary about the making of the 2018 God of War, 2016 God of War.
Yeah.
And they're probably like, well, what? So what? You think Kratos is just gonna walk from Greece to Norway? Like, and then Corey Barlog's like, well, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. You can do that.
Boy.
Yeah, he can walk. He can walk along what you walk that whole game.
Yeah. He very clearly doesn't mind the cold.
No, he doesn't give a shit. He's shirtless.
Yeah. But yeah, he makes his way to Geneva. And what's it called? And yeah, Victor knows the creature responsible. Frankenstein, the creature rolls up on Victor Frankenstein and is like, yo, meet me over there tomorrow or whatever.
Yeah, he's like, yo, we need to talk, but we're not going to talk here. You need to climb a whole ass mountain, and then we'll talk at the top of that.
Yeah.
And you're like,
it's
why?
A crazy mountain climb.
It's like a really dangerous climb.
And then he falls down a big fun slide looking thing.
Yeah.
Where fucking the creature has made his little sanctum, like his little sanctuary.
That's where he lives. He lives in the cold.
He's got a little.
And
camp.
he's like, hey, I'm a monster now.
Yeah.
You either make me a bride, or I'm gonna kill everyone you love.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's more than that. So the first thing he says to him, and this is the part where it's like I get the sympathy for like. He says, did you ever think about the consequences of your actions?
Yeah.
Like, all these pieces are not just pieces. They're part of people. And, like, I love this scene where he talks about, like, how did I know how to play this flute? Was it in my heart, in my head, in my whatever? Like, where does this go? Like, you know, I didn't learn how to talk. I remembered. Like, these parts that you put together, like, have personality. And when he says, I contain love in ways that you don't understand and I contain rage that you don't understand, the way that I interpreted it is that there are some parts of him and some of the people that he's a part of were really awful people.
Yeah.
And some of the people that he is made of him are really good people. So that's why he has that double.
He's got such a wide range of. Yeah, I could see that. So he genuinely is both because he's multiple people stitched together.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. So that gives me that scene and that explanation to me gave me a thing of like, okay, that's why I can still feel bad for you, even though you're going to be like, yeah, if you don't do this, I'm just going to, murder a bunch of people.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like, Yeah, as it
Yeah.
turns out, like I have a large capacity for love, and but I also have no problem killing people. Like
Yeah.
that's something I found out about myself is I'm actually perfectly fine just murdering innocent people. Don't care.
Yeah, I'll just kill your family because I'm a monster. That's just something that I'm capable of.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, and he says it straight up.
Yep.
You know. But yeah. So, and the thing is, like, yeah, he wants him to make him a bride. Basically.
Yep. Make me Bride of Frankenstein.
Make me a Mary Shelley's Frankenstein part 2.
Yeah.
Bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah, we get like a bonus second movie here.
Yeah, pretty much like a little quick thing at the end where
Bonus sequel.
yeah, where like Victor has to
He's like,
demand
fine, I will do it, and then what is it like? He's
so he's gonna bring not
their like family friend dies, right?
their family friend, this woman dies, and Frankenstein chooses her as like the body.
He's like, it has to be her.
Has to be her.
And you're like,
then,
okay, why? And he's like,
Victor-
because fuck you, man. If you
Yeah,
don't
fuck
do
you,
it, I'll
pick
kill
her.
it. I'll fuck people up like I said I would.
yeah, period.
And then
but yeah, so
Victor's like, nah, I'm not gonna do it.
and then Frankenstein gets his revenge by on their wedding night.
Yeah.
Frankenstein, the monster, rolls in and tears out Elizabeth's heart.
Yep, we get
in
that.
their bed.
We get that.
Crazy violence.
We get the weird. So like, there's a big scene where Victor confesses to his stepsister.
Yeah.
That he did something fucked up, and then he's like, I did something that you probably, if I told you, you probably would
You
never
wouldn't love
look
me
at me the
anymore.
same way. You wouldn't love me anymore. And
Yeah.
she's like, well, easy solution. Let's just get married, and then I can't leave you. So they get married, and he still hasn't told her. And I wonder how their father felt about these
Them being
brother and
together?
sisters getting married. Like, because he's like laying in his deathbed, and he honestly doesn't look that happy about it.
He dies. And he's like, damn, this is fucked
This
up.
is fucking weird. He couldn't find a
I'm gonna-
single other woman.
I'm gonna put it up to this is like weird Victorian European time.
Yeah.
There were weirder incestuous things going on at the time. I
Much,
think.
yeah. It makes me
That's
wonder if maybe in the no, never mind. I was gonna say maybe in the original book they weren't step siblings; they were just siblings.
Just straight up, maybe it's a Jamie and Circe
Yeah.
situation for sure.
No, but
And then and Frankenstein is an allegory for incest.
that would, you know what? That makes a lot of
be.
sense because yeah,
I was just spitballing there, but there's
there's some thematic through line there.
yeah.
But yeah, no, they go to. Oh, also, Victor Frankenstein has an annoying friend in this movie.
Oh yeah, I kept trying to place
He
the
looks
actor.
Yeah, he looks like
He looks like a few actors.
like Steve Guttenberg or something. Like he looks like
Yeah.
he looks like every like guy in the 80s.
I thought, you know who I thought it was? I thought it was fucking what's his name? Nick from Face Off, the brother. Hey bro.
Yeah.
What's that character's name?
Same
Nick
energy.
Cage- yeah, same kind of like little. He has a little weasel face.
Yep, he
He
does.
kind of looks like Giovanni Ribisi.
You meet him for the first time and you're like, that's the friend character.
Yeah, Tom Hulce.
Yeah.
I thought that he was gonna be Igor the first time he showed up. Like he was gonna get fucked up.
That would have been
and
sick.
turn-
He
and turn
gets like
into
struck
Igor.
by lightning or something.
Yeah, no, he gets Frankenstein crunches him like a pretzel and gives him the hump. And that's how he
That's the
becomes Igor.
dumb like that's the dumb version of this movie.
Yeah.
Uh
But no,
yeah, no,
I
he has
don't-
an annoying friend who also has a whole emotional arc that the audience doesn't care about.
yeah.
We are kind of passing over all the not so great parts of this movie because they're not the parts you remember.
I mean, it's kind of a thing where it's like the things that I personally, I just think that it's a little unbalanced. I
Yes.
think really that's my biggest thing is like I think that there are, especially the section in the movie with Frankenstein and the family and like the sensitivity that's given to that and like the level of depth
Yeah.
that Robert De Niro is giving to this character is not equal to
Yeah.
the hamminess.
Yeah, you're right. It's
In
kind
the
of all
moment.
over the place like that.
And it's still a fun ride, but it definitely is a thing where it's like it makes it so that I think it hurts the timelessness of it because I think that those hammy parts
They feel very dated.
they do feel dated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair. But yeah, no, they like assemble like a goon squad to kill Frankenstein, much like the end of Frankenstein's monster. I'll just call him Frankenstein. Much like the end of Dracula, they just like, yo, he wants to use this body. I'm just not going to do that. So we're just going to go out and kill him. But first, it's my wedding night. So he goes up, and they kind of get things started with Helena Bonham Carter, and then before anything happens, she looks up. And he's
and Frankenstein's
Frankenstein's like they have like a sunlight, and Frankenstein's just like looking down at her. She's like, what the fuck?
And bursts in like the fly.
Yep. And then Victor runs back in, and Frankenstein's like, fuck with me, and then he reaches into Helena Bonham Carter's chest, pulls out her still beating heart, and shows it to Victor Frankenstein. It's pretty metal.
Yeah. And then, expectedly so, Victor Frankenstein's like, nope, I'm not going to let Elizabeth die.
He's crazy. He's had a lot of people in his life die. That's like his...
Yeah. His whole thing.
Yep. So, he's like, I'm not going to do... Like, this is the whole point of why I've been doing this. So he stitches her head and hands onto that like few day old body now. onto Lisa's
body.
Yeah. She also got, by the way, I forgot Helena Bonham Carter's death scene. She not only gets her heart ripped out, and then her body gets like knocked off the bed and like hits the corner of the side table, and her hair catches on fire.
Yes. Okay, and that's why she looks. I do remember. Yeah, it's like we gotta make sure.
Like I was like, oh my god, and then that happened, and I was just kind of laughing. Like it was like, almost like a slapstick.
Yeah, no, it is pretty goofy, but he quickly brings her back to life.
Yep. And her brain doesn't work too good, but it's the same thing as what happened to the monster, where it's like the brain kind of slowly remembers.
Mm-hmm. And she doesn't immediately get to the stage, but she what's it called? Her and Victor have like a little weird dance number.
Yeah. It's very strange. This is the part I remember being a kid and being like, what the fuck is this movie? This movie is making me so uncomfortable.
This last bit is so odd and so uncomfortable, and it's very clear she looks fucked up, and then the monster shows up and is like, she's beautiful.
Yeah, and then like she's almost like, oh, what's this guy about? And she's like, oh.
And we get a little bit of a scene in the movie where it's like the dog has to go.
Yeah, that's exactly that.
Come on, here.
Yeah, she's like, oh no, and then she.
She does a quick without even saying any words, a quick thing of like, this sucks. I don't want to be alive.
She actually does some really good face acting. She does because you can see her look at Victor, and I mean a lot of this is the context, but you can tell like she's like this like betrayal and this like, what horrible thing have you done to me? Like
exactly, like you can see all of that on her face.
Why would I trusted you? Why would you do this to me? But no, she freaks out, and then she lifts up a lantern, and like they're both like, no, don't. she crushes it over her head and lights herself on fire.
Yeah. And
then runs down the hall, and the whole house explodes for some reason as she's doing that. It's a very combustible house.
Yeah, she lets everything lights on fire instantly.
They used gasoline paint in this house.
I guess so. Victor and the creature escapes as the mansion burns, and then we go back to our framing device.
And he's been following me ever since.
Yep. And then Victor off screen dies of pneumonia,
which is really lame.
And the creature is crying over his body, and another that doesn't make. I don't know how much sense it makes. I mean, he goes like, yes, but he's my father.
It's because he's still got like human parts in him.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's complex emotions that Frankenstein. He feels more complex emotions than us because he's multiple people.
Exactly. He's the original Split.
Yeah.
The original James McAvoy.
But he feels them all at the same time is the hard part.
Yeah.
He has like a funeral for his dad. The crew's like, what are we fucking doing?
What is going on?
And the captain's like, he's his father. Come on, guys.
The captain is strangely sympathetic, despite him being shown as like a giant dick who doesn't care about his crew. Why the fuck would he care about this creature?
Well, this story made him, I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. It gave him sympathy.
Yeah, because he says they're not going to progress anymore.
whole life tale. But yeah, and then the ice breaks, and then there's a funny scene where Frankenstein jumps in the water, and I'm like, oh, it's so cool. And he's like, and then the captain's like, no, you can come with us.
And the crew's like, what the fuck? No, he can't.
And Frankenstein's like, nah, we're not getting a sequel out of this.
Yeah. What a stupid suggestion. Where is he gonna go?
Yeah, like where's he gonna live?
Yeah.
I mean, he can just live up top. He doesn't mind the cold.
He's fine where he is. He's already dead.
Does he sleep?
Yeah, I don't know.
They didn't establish that. But then he goes on to where Victor's body is
burning,
and he burns himself
he's
along
got
with
a
his father's
torch, and
body.
they both burn. You can see like this relief on his face.
And that's how the movie ends. So yeah, both this and Dracula, the monster. It's funny how like I feel like a lot of these, pretty much all of these, end with the monster dying, but then like
they didn't used to sequel bait.
but then like they ended up making sequels and just being like, oh, but then they don't die.
Yeah, yep, that's Hollywood.
Which every horror movie monster follows suit. Fucking no. That's the thing. Like with horror movies, if anybody dies, especially the monster or the creature, I'm never counting them out as like they're not coming back.
Yeah.
You know, like anybody can come back.
Yeah, no one's ever really gone.
No. Especially in horror movies, yeah. So yeah, that was Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Pretty
I had a
nanners.
fucking blast with it.
I enjoy it a lot.
I think that
a lot of it's nostalgia for me, I think, but I just like the character a lot. And I honestly, I don't think I've ever seen a depiction of this character I didn't like when they took it seriously. Even in like Van Helsing, he's a cool character. He's underused, but he's a cool character.
Yeah. No, definitely. Frankenstein is always like the emotional linchpin, especially eventually when we do future Midnight Movie Gang episode Monster Squad.
Yeah.
We'll be talking about damn, this makes me these two episodes made me wanna watch we should do a couple. So there are two other 90s movies that are recreations of this is next week. What I'm about to say is next week's episode, by the way. And then we're gonna do Monster Squad. There are two movies that are not by Francis Ford Coppola, but they're also Universal reimaginings. Neither of them are. So there's Wolf with Jack Nicholson.
I was thinking like Wolfman with Benicio del Toro.
Well, that's the 2000s.
Right.
That's we could do that one if you want, but
that to me feels like the same.
The same.
I haven't seen Wolf.
Maybe I haven't seen Wolf either.
Oh,
so
cool.
I think it'd be a fun.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
Jack Nicholson's a werewolf.
I do love a Wolfman story.
And then the second one is Hollow Man with Kevin Bacon.
Ooh.
Which have you seen that one?
No.
That one's got some great got a lot of interesting shit going on. I think we should double with Wolf and Hollow Man next week.
I'm down.
Hollow Man on VHS, and then I think we'll do them. I'm liking this recreation Universal monster.
Yeah. It fits the show perfectly.
And then eventually we'll watch Monster. So so Wolf and Invisible Man next week, folks. If you're listening, actually this is gonna come out weeks. But anyway, folks, if you're listening,
there will be a future episode.
But yeah, please definitely check out Mary Shelley's Frankenstein and Dracula, Bram Stoker's Dracula. If you go on Amazon right now, there's like a double Blu-ray box for like $8.
Yep.
But I'm sure it's also on.
These are both really fun movies, and they're a really good double feature too.
Yeah.
If you get high, I think if you were sober, it might get a little fatiguing.
You definitely need to be high for Frankenstein.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yep.
It was catching me off guard.
Yeah, no, it will too. Like it's weirder than you think it's gonna be.
Yeah, they're both just like rent them on Amazon Prime, whatever. Just go ahead and enjoy. Let us know what you think. But yeah, this has been Midnight Movie Gang. It is currently 8:36 p.m. Night Movie Gang. Thank you so much for listening.
Do you have a prop?
Check us out. Oh, fuck! I forgot about props.
Yep.
Silly me. God, did we do prop? We did do props last week, but now
we did.
Shit, we didn't.
I can go first.
Yeah, please go first. Cause I haven't been thinking about props at all.
I kind of wanted Dracula's glasses, like sunglasses.
Those are cool sunglasses.
But I think I'll take his robe.
Damn it. That's what I was gonna take.
I think his robe is so strange, and I could just wear it around the house and feel like a moron. So that's my Dracula pick, and from Frankenstein. That's actually I thought I had. I think I want his. You know what? I'm a double up, and I'm gonna take his jacket, his giant jacket, because
double coat, double jacket.
Yeah, I want to wear the Dracula cloak around the house, and then when I go out to walk my dog, I'll wear the Frankenstein giant coat and put the hood up, so I feel like so everyone sees me like lumbering around. They're like, "Don't fuck with that guy."
From Dracula, I'm gonna take Van Helsing has a little vampire manual.
Hell yeah!
Thing that I remember thinking looked really cool that said vampire spelled with a Y on it.
Rad. It's a cool game.
I want that. Yeah. I want that journal. And then from Frankenstein, I think I want, let's see, maybe even just like a figurine of Frankenstein in that movie or something, or like
the mask or something.
Yeah, or like actually, you know what I want? I want the big mechanical uterus.
Yeah,
just hanging in my garage.
Yeah, the second choice was the big like tomb thing because I thought it looked weird as fuck.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool set design for sure. But yeah, no, those are my props.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, no, Frankenstein, Dracula, check them out.
Watch them.
This has been Midnight Movie Gang. Check us out at Midnight Movie Gang on Instagram. Go to www.midnightmoviegang.com for hopefully by the time you listen to this, the store will be up. And you can buy our Midnight Movie Gang VHS tapes.
Yes, buy them.
Yes, we got For Signs and The Fly 2. If you want to watch along without signing up, you could either sign up for the Patreon to watch along, or you could buy one of these tapes.
Yes, do both.
Either way, yeah, do both.
Do both 3 times. Open 3. I shouldn't say that.
Open 3 at the same.
I was gonna say open 3 accounts. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that.
No, I don't know.
It was a joke.
Well, please do. Yeah, but yeah, no. This has been thank you so much for listening. Good night.
Good night. Bye.
So, here we go. With child expectations and complexes which the police are searching for James Thomas, believed to be the lover of Miss Williams, and her partner in the horrible murder of Walter. Where's everybody? And I'm here to go. Oh, please tell me where they've gone. Please tell me. Sorry, I don't know. How long is it? How long could I got in here? Please take us to Albany on 6 o'clock train tonight. What do you think? Special agent, special agent.